So, hello friends. So, today we are at the last leg of our discussion with validity. So, for the last few classes, we are trying to get our concept clear into the concept of reliability and validity, as well as lately we tried to calculate reliability and validity both by using the available methods or available techniques. Okay. And practically I tried to demonstrate you. Okay. So, now today we will complete our discussion with the validity, particularly the estimation of the validity. So, once again to remind you, so validity of a particular measuring instrument, okay, that can be broadly generally we take it as a 3 different type, but again these 3 different type may be classified under 2 broader type, that is one is the theoretical level at the empirical level. So, theoretical level we are talking about the content validity, but apart from the content validity, okay, so there is another type of validity, that is phase validity. Though sometimes this phase validity is used interchangeably with the content validity, but those are not same. Okay. Content validity is much more formal or statistically much more accurate methods are available. On the other hand, phase validity is much more crude method. And next broader group was empirical validity. In empirical validity there is criteria related validity, there is construct related validity. So, in the construct related validity there are a number of methods, okay, like you can use factor analysis, you can use hypothesis testing, you can use known group method. But till now whatever concept we are talking about validity, okay, like whether it is content validity index method, whether all these methods. So, by using those methods we generally calculate the validity of a particular construct which is one dimension is there. So, it is not like that it cannot be used for the multiple dimension, but you have to do it separately. Okay. So, now when you have multiple dimension of a scale, okay, so like maybe you are talking about the farmer's attitude towards the farm bill. So, one aspect is there that farm bill will positively contribute to the livelihood or improvement of the livelihood of the farmers, okay, like it may contribute towards the doubling farmer income. Okay. So, some of the statement, okay, or some of the question maybe, okay, or some of the items which to be included, okay, so that will be on that particular dimension, that means improvement of the livelihood. On the other hand, certain of the statement may be related with the easing the business opportunity. Okay. Easing the business opportunity means more legal business into the farm sector, like it is quite possible that farmers are generally exploited by the middleman. Okay. So, many of the part of the farms law are not directly maybe not related with the improvement of the livelihood, okay, but it may be related with the other stakeholders in the overall farm scenario. Okay. So, in most of the cases in psychological or sociological research, okay, each of the construct we generally look into, those generally have a number of dimension, and gradually our research is gaining footstep into that particular aspect that we call the multidimensional scaling. Okay. So, now in the multidimensional environment, so another group of or another problem of validity generally came into the consideration, or you have to consider another particular type of the validity. Okay. And not one type, we call it the 2 different type of validity, which is known as the convergent validity and divergent validity, or discriminative validity or discriminant validity, sometimes we use that particular terms. Okay. So, but before we actually discuss that particular type of validity, we first look into what is phase validity. Okay. So, phase validity is nothing but it just answer the question whether an instrument apparently has validity for the subject. Okay. So, it is totally about the appearance of that instrument, okay, apparent attractiveness of the instrument, okay. So, which may actually affect the acceptability of that particular instrument to the respondent. Okay. So, here till now we are not talking about in the statistical term, we are not talking about by the expert judgment, we are only talking about that particular instrument should be attractive to the respondent. Okay. So, ensuring that is basically one aspect of the phase validity. Okay. That means how suitable the content of the test, okay, seems to be on the surface for the respondent. So, that is the phase validity. Okay. So, as I already mentioned that sometimes we confuse the phase validity with the content validity, but both are not same. Face validity is much more informal in nature and it involves sometimes it involves subjective judgment. Okay. So, you need not to go through the a mathematical formula or calculation or use of the statistics, okay, like chance agreement. Okay. So, you simply use simple mathematical formula, even without using the mathematical formula, by using the qualitative judgment you can actually calculate the face validity. Okay. So, in the face validity, what generally what type of aspect we look into, or face validity basically evaluates which type of question or regarding the measuring instrument. It look into the readability. Okay. So, readability means the many of the times, okay, the test or these questions are designed for the questionnaire. Okay. So, I think I already talk about it, means when the measuring instrument, okay, depending on whether there is an enumerator present, okay, that presenting those questions to the respondent, then registering their answer, or the respondent in the standalone way, okay, they have to read the question, perceive it, answer it. Depending on that particular setting, we define between, or we differentiate between the whether it is an schedule item or whether it is an questionnaire item, or whether it is an interview schedule, whether it is an questionnaire. Okay. So, if I did not talk about it before also, again we will discuss that particular part. Okay. In case of the questionnaire, readability become very important. Okay. Like a questionnaire may be designed by looking into the quality, this educational qualification of the farmers. A questionnaire may be designed for the university students. So, the language of both of them should be little bit different, though there is general guideline for designing the question which to be included into your measuring instrument. Okay. And some part of it we already talked about in when we discussed about the sample survey. So, this face validity also includes the clarity of the wording. As I told, the face validity, okay, it also the attractiveness of the questionnaire or the schedule can be taken as an indicator of the face validity. Okay. So, layout and the style is very important. Okay. It should look balanced, it should be attractive. Okay. Color combination should be right. Okay. Feasibility, okay, that is again the one of the aspect of the face validity, like whether it is feasible for the respondent to answer this particular question within the given particular time. Okay. So, then all of these things can be, all of this informal judgment, okay, can be included into the calculation of the face validity. Okay. So, now it is not like that it is entirely subjective. The quantitative analysis can also be included into the calculation of the face validity. Okay. And it is generally done by using a 5-point or 7-point Likert scale. Now, what is Likert scale? We will discuss about that part also, but for now Likert scale means it is a set of questions which are similar in terms of their importance or similar in terms of their weightage. Okay. And those the respondent need to answer to each of the question in terms of their degree of agreement. Okay. Like if I am designing, okay, like if you take the previous example, if I am designing an instrument to measure the attitude of the farmers toward the farm bill. Okay. So, one particular statement may be the farm bill will ensure that farmers income doubled within the 2 years. Okay. So, how much agree with this statement, okay, in a 5-point scale or 7-point scale, starting from the strongly disagree to the strongly agree. Okay. So, it is use the ordinal continuum. Okay. So, now for the calculation of this particular face validity, we generally use the item impact score. So, formula of the item impact score is the very simple. Okay. It is the frequency into the importance. What is the frequency? Frequency means the number of people who gave a score of 4 or 5. Okay. So, like maybe there were 10 experts, and among the 10 experts, okay, there are 7 experts all of them give the score of the 5. Okay. So, that is this score of 5. Okay. So, this 7 is its frequency, and importance means the average of the total answer. Now, if average of the total answer means if 7 of them given the score of the 5, then it will be the particular question number 1 or item 1, it will receive 35 plus maybe the rest 3 given the score of the 2, then it is 6. Okay. By divided by total score, what is possible, like if they all of them give the score of the 5 to each of the item, okay, or to that particular it was 50. So, now it is 41 by 50. Okay. So, if you calculate this 41 by 50, it will give you 0.82, then 0.82 into your frequency was 7, then your impact score that will be 5.74. Okay. So, it is as simple formula for calculating this impact score. Okay. If the impact of an item is equal to or greater than 1.5, Okay. So, it is basically derived from the the mean frequency or 50% and importance mean on of the 3 on a 5-point Likert scale. Okay. So, for now it is the cutoff value. Okay. So, if it is more than 1.5 in a 5-point scale, then this particular item we take as it is having this phase validity, okay, based on the impact score, okay, or otherwise it is eliminated. Okay. So, now many of the research you will find out that basically at the initial level they screen the question based on the repeated measure of the phase validity. Okay. So, now this phase validity is sometimes used repeatedly used by the researcher to actually design a pool of item, okay, before administering the content validity method or before actually send the item for the content validation. Okay, like here the one of the example I take from the one published research paper, okay, that which used the repeated phase validity measure like in the initial stage. Okay. So, after total 52 item the researcher start with, then the 3 include 15 item dropped and based on the suggestion of the expert 3 item again included. Okay. In the later stage again he sent for the phase or he calculated the impact score, then 42, then 8 item or again dropped, but again 17 item basically added based on the opinion of the expert or based on the judgment of the researcher himself. Okay. So, at this stage, okay, sometimes it is not sent for the even for the expert opinion. Okay. It is generally sent for the common, you can use the probable any particular people who is knowledgeable in that particular construct area, okay, for the phase validation. Okay. So, again I am repeating the for phase validity it is not always required to calculate the quantitative index. Okay. So, you can simply based on the any qualitative parameter or qualitative judgment also you can go for the phase validity, and the phase validity stage, okay, you can delete item, you can add on item. Okay. So, after in this way the initial pool of the items are generally finalized and which is then sent for the content validation. Okay. So, now coming to the multidimensional aspect of a particular construct we are talking about. Okay. From that point of view, one method of the so from that particular point of view I told that one is type of validity is there which we call the convergent validity, and the type of validity is there which we call the discriminant validity or divergent validity. Now, the convergent validity simply means, now if a particular measuring instrument has a number of dimension, so now you have to design the question for representing each of the dimension. Now, as psychological construct are not clear cut, you cannot demarcate between the 2 dimension of a particular psychological construct. Like here we are giving the example of the improvement in the livelihood. On the other hand, maybe the easing the or making the farm business most corruption free or most bringing out the farm business out of the control of the middleman. Okay. So, those 2 aspects again it may be certain way it may be there will be relation. Okay. So, all the dimension of a particular construct you cannot separate out. Okay. So, now when a particular construct has a number of dimension, so you have to be sure that the items of the question you put in a particular dimension, they are measuring only that dimension only. Okay. So, it is not measuring the other dimension. Okay. So, convergent validity means that the items which are the part of one dimension, okay, they are measuring that particular dimension only, not the other dimension. On the other hand, discriminant validity means that the item which are part of one dimension, okay, that is not the measuring the contributing towards the other dimension. Okay. So, you cannot make this contribution totally 0 in the social science, but that should be within the tolerable limit. Okay. So, this particular convergent and discriminant validity that can be calculated by using confirmatory factor analysis, by using the factor analysis, particularly confirmatory factor analysis we use. Okay. So, now for the purpose of this particular course, okay, we are not going to demonstrate what the confirmatory factor analysis is, how to do that, but it is for your knowledge that it is done by the CFA. Okay. So, now instead of the, so apart from the CFA or use of this particular communality matrix or this particular output of the confirmatory factor analysis, okay, you can, there are other method or other crude, you can tell that not crude, but other usable method also. Okay. So, one of this such method is the heterotrait monotrait ratio of the correlation. Okay. Or it is better or shortly it is known as the empty method. Okay. So, this HT-empty method was introduced by the Hensler, Ringel and Stardust. Okay. So, then it is the basically it is a measure of similarity between the latent variable. Okay. So, these terms actually basically borrowed from the this path analysis and structural equation modeling. Okay. So, just for now, okay. So, you need not to bother about those particular terms. Okay. So, what we do, you can use the HT-empty correlation. Okay. So, as a part of this course, we will look into how to calculate this HT-empty. Okay. So, if you have the 2 dimension, okay, sometimes it is possible, okay, how to use this particular method. Okay. So, as I already told, the discriminant validity means that 2 particular dimension of a variable, okay, that represent the different part or dimension of the particular concept are statistically different. Okay. Now, this based on this we calculate the HT-empty ratio, and if the HT-empty is clear or small or clearly smaller than 1, then we can tell that discriminant validity can be regarded as established. Okay. So, in many practical situation, a threshold of the 0.85 is reliably distinguished between those pairs of the latent variable that are discriminant and those pair of the latent variable that are not. Okay. So, now again repeating, so this HT-empty method of this convergent and discriminant validity, it requires of only the correlation of the observed variables as the input. Okay. So, no confirmatory or exploratory factor analysis is not used, but those are the best method or those are the actual most accurate method for the calculating this convergent or divergent validity. Okay. So, now this HT-empty correlation of the HT-empty ratio can be calculated easily, okay, by using the open source online software or online website also. Like I for part of for the knowledge of the learners, okay, I mention the address of the website or one software that is can give you the HT-empty output. Now, let us understand that what this HT-empty or what are the part of this HT-empty ratio. Okay. Now, to calculate the heterothread monothread ratio of the correlation, okay, one you need to clear the your understanding about the formula. Before you go to the formula, you have to understand that how it is this, what is the part of the formula. Okay. So, now here for the example, you just assume that you have a particular variable or construct you are measuring that may have the 2 dimension. It is dimension 1 and it is dimension 2. Now, each of the dimension is represented by the 3 item x1, x2 and x3. Okay, that is the representative of the first item and the first dimension, and the second dimension is being represented by the x4, x5 and x6. Okay. So, now for calculating now if you calculate the inter item correlation, okay, so you will get this particular matrix correlation matrix. Now, correlation matrix is basically symmetrical in the diagonal. Okay. So, if you take the values of the one diagonal only, that will suffice the requirement. Okay. So, in this particular this values of the which can be put under one side of the diagonal. Okay. So, there are 3 particular shape I blocked into. Okay. So, all the inter item correlation. So, now this square shaped area which is known as the A, or it is technically it is known as the heteromethod correlation, because the correlation values which will be there in this particular area, those are basically represented not only different dimension, but they are different from the different item. Okay. Like R14, that means that correlation coefficient, okay, that is between the x1 and x4 who are different method or different item, and they belongs to the different dimension. Okay. Now, this bottom and top triangle, those are basically designated as the B and C area. Statistical or technically it is being called that the monothread heteromethod correlation. Okay. So, they basically all the items belongs to the same dimension, and this is the correlation between these items. Now, using this formula, we generally calculate this HT-empty ratio. The formula of the HT-empty ratio is that it is A divided by root of B and C. Okay. A means it is the heterothread heteromethod correlation, B and C they are both the monothread and heteromethod correlation. Okay. So, now once you get that particular formula, so it should be more than 0.85. Okay. So, now then it is the discriminant validity is basically established. Okay. So, now if you did not get that values, okay, so now you have to look for the whole correlation coefficient. Okay. And those items are basically removed which have the lowest correlation with the items of the same dimension of the construct, and or they have the highest correlation between the other dimension of the construct. Okay. So, means maybe it is possible that this particular value, okay, which basically or this particular item, okay. So, it is supposed to have very good correlation with the this, because it is the monotrade hetero method correlation, they are all directed towards measuring this state, okay. So, if this value is high, that is not a problem, but now if this value is high, that is a problem. That means it is not only it is measuring the or relating towards the this particular first state also, okay. So, that is the simple rationale behind this, the removal of the item, okay. So, based on the once you get the HTMC ratio value, okay. So, now we will try to do it in the practically by Excel, okay. It is very simple, okay. So, let us assume that these are the items, okay, item 1, 2, 3, 4, these represent the first dimension, and EP1, EP2, EP3, EP4, EP5 that represent the second dimension of a particular construct, okay. So, now as I told, what you need to do, you need to calculate or you need to estimate the correlation coefficient. How you can do that? Okay. So, for that you have to go to the data analysis and you have to go to correlation, okay. Once you got the by using the how to do that correlation coefficient, okay. So, you just select the whole response area. So, here a lot of response, this is a bigger data set, okay. So, no problem for that also. So, this is the first is the row, you remember, then you will go for the output range, okay. This is maybe the output range, I will select this one as a output range, okay. Then you simply click OK, you will once again we will select, there is a problem with the selection, okay. So, so, it is the correlation coefficient, okay. So, now, so what is the area of this heterotrade monotrade correlation? So, this is the area, okay. So, this area is the area of heterotrade monotrade, and these are the monotrade hetero method, these are the monotrade hetero method, okay. So, once you have to take the average of the mean of all the correlation coefficient which fall under this particular area, then you have to take the average, you have to exclude, you have to remove all the 1 values, okay. So, then you take the average of these particular values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and these 9 value, and then all these particular values, and you divided this mean average correlation coefficient of this particular yellow area divided by root of this multiplication between average of this area and the average of the C area, then you will arrive at the heterotrade monotrade correlation ratio. Now, if it is less than 0.85, then you have to decide that which item to be removed, okay, and that is done based on the correlation coefficient, okay. It is very simple to do, but as I told, okay, it is not, it is an much more less accurate than the use of the content this CFA or EFA, means confirmatory factor analysis or the this exploratory factor analysis, but that is the actual method, and there are number of other criteria like Fornal-Lurker criteria, diagonal element, all these things there, okay. Then only you have to decide, but this give you the initial indication that whether the convergent or discriminant validity is established or not. So, with this we will complete our discussion on the estimation of the validity, and I think by now you get a good idea what validity is and what is the importance of it in in case of the psychological or social psychological or behavioral research, okay. So, you can always as always you can go through this particular books for much more in depth knowledge into this aspect of reliability and validity, and with this we will close today's lecture. Thank you.